Hi and welcome to the Computer Network Decoded. Are you gearing up for your CCNA certifications? Whether you are just starting out or brushing your networking skills, you have come to the right place. In this series, we are diving deep into CCNA practice questions with detailed explanations. We will cover everything from networking fundamentals to advanced scenarios, all designed to help you ace your exam and excel in the field of networking. I have been in the networking industry for over 10 years. Throughout this series, I will be your guide, breaking down complex concepts into simple, digestible explanations. Each video will feature multiple practice questions followed by a step-by-step explanation. By the end of the video, you will not only be prepared for your CCNA exam, but also gain a deeper understanding of networking principles that you can apply in real-world scenarios. So whether you are studying for your CCNA or simply eager to expand your networking knowledge, hit that subscribe button and join me on this educational journey. Don't forget to like, comment, and share with anyone else preparing for their CCNA. Let's master networking together. Question number 1. Which OSI model layer is responsible for end-to-end communication and error recovery? And the options are option A, network, option B, transport, option C, data link, and option D, physical. And the correct option is option B, transport. And the explanation is the transport layer is responsible for end-to-end communication between devices. It handles data delivery, error detection, error recovery, and flow control. Protocols like TCP work at this layer to ensure that data arrives correctly and in order. So let me further clarify this concept with the help of this diagram. So the transport layer is basically layer 4. And we have these popular protocols such as TCP, UDP, SSL, TLS that work at this layer. And the important concept here is that the transport layer is responsible for end-to-end delivery of packets. So what do we mean by end-to-end delivery? Let me clarify it. Let's suppose we have this client device and a server device. And in this particular case, let's suppose this is a web server which is hosting the HTTP service on port 80, and our client may be having a random port number such as this 4595. So this client may also be running other services as well. A server may be also running other services such as SSH, Telnet, SMTP, etc. So when we say end-to-end delivery, it means that TCP or the transport layer is responsible for delivery the packet all the way up to the particular service. So if the client here is browsing the web, then the web server will be receiving the packet all the way to its service at port 80, and this will be done through the transport layer. Similarly, if this user is doing SSH, the packet will be delivered to this service. So this is what we mean by end-to-end delivery. And if we look at the network layer is only responsible for host-to-host delivery. Let's suppose is this client has an IP address of 10.10.10.10, and the server, let's suppose, has an IP address of 192.168.1.100. So the network layer is responsible for delivery packets up to this IP address. Further, up to particular service is the responsibility of this transport layer. So I wanted to clarify this concept because this is important. So let's move forward to the next question. Which DHCP message does a client send to accept an offered IP address? And the options are option A, DHCP discover, option B, DHCP offer, option C, DHCP request, and option D, DHCP act. And the correct option is option C, DHCP request. And the explanation is the client sends a DHCP request message to accept the offered IP address from the server. It tells the DHCP server, I accept the IP address you offered, This step happens after the server sends the DHCP offer. Let me show the complete process. So this is how the DHCP process takes place. First of all, the client sends a DHCP discovery packet, and remember this is a UDP packet on port 67. The server responds with a DHCP offer on UDP port 68, and after this packet, the client request packet is basically the packet that accepts this offer on UDP again port 67, and at the end the server sends the acknowledgement packet. So this is how the whole DHCP process between the client and the server takes place. Question number 20, question number 3, how many usable host addresses are available in A/26 subnets? So this is also an important concept, and I will be explaining the process and the formula of how to calculate the IP addresses in a subnet. So the options are option A 32, option B 62, option C 126, and option D 254. And the correct option is option B 62. So how do we come with this number 62? Let me explain. So a /26 subnet has a total of 64 IP addresses. After reserving 2 addresses, one for the network ID and one for the broadcast address, we have 62 usable host addresses. So this makes a /26 a good choice for small network. So how do we arrive at this particular number? So the formula to calculate usable host in a subnet is 2 raised to the power number of host bits minus 2. So how do we calculate the number of host bits? So remember this formula and the next one, that is to calculate the number of hosts. So in this case, let's suppose we have a /26 subnet. It means that we have basically total of 32 bits in IPv4 address. So then a /26 means 26 bits are for the network, and total 32 minus the network bits are equal to host bits, which is 6. So now plug in this number in our formula, that is 2 raised to the power 6 minus 2. This is 64 minus 2 is equal to 62 usable host. So remember this formula. Write in the comment if you have any doubt or further clarification. Question number 4, you are configuring VLANs on a switch and want to assign VLAN 10 to a specific port. Which command would you use in interface configuration mode? And the options are option A, switch port access VLAN 10, option B, VLAN 10, option C, switch port mode trunk, and option D, IP VLAN 10. And the correct option is option A, switch port access VLAN 10. So in interface configuration mode, remember you must first enter the interface configuration mode, and then you will enter this command to assign that VLAN to this specific interface. The command switch port access VLAN 10 assigns the port to VLAN 10. This ensures that any device connected to that port becomes member of VLAN 10. It is used when setting a port as an access port for a specific VLAN. Question number 5. Which command is used to configure a static route to the network 192.168.1.0/24 via the next hop 10.1.1.1? And the options are option A, IP route 192.168.1.0 255.255.255.0, which is this subnet, and 10.1.1.1. Option B, route 192.168.1.0 255.255.255.0 and 10.1.1.1. Option C, set route 192.168.1.0/24 next hop 10.1.1.1. And option D, IP static 192.168.1.0/24 10.1.1.1. And the correct option is option A, IP route 192.168.1.0 255.255.255.0 10.1.1.1. To understand this command, IP route, these are the keyword to enter the specific route. The next is basically the destination network that you want to reach, followed by the subnet mask, and at the last we enter the next hop. So the command IP route 192.168.1.0, 255.255.255.0 and 10.1.1.1.1 creates a static route. It tells the router to reach 192.168.1.0/24 network using the next hop IP address 10.1.1.1. This is standard way to manually add routes in Cisco devices. Question number 6. Which type of ACL, that is access control list, allows filtering traffic based on both source and destination IP addresses? And the options are option A, standard ACL, option B, extended ACL, option C, named ACL, and option D, dynamic ACL. And the correct option is option B, extended ACL. So what is an extended ACL? An extended ACL can filter traffic based on both source and destination IP address. It can also filter traffic by protocol type, port number, giving more control compared to standard ACL. Extended ACLs are usually placed close to the source of the traffic. Question number 7. Which network automation tool is commonly used for configuration management and automation in Cisco devices? And the options are option A, Chef, option B, Ansible, option C, Jenkins, and option D, Docker. And the correct option is option B, Ansible. Ansible is a popular tool used for configuration management and automation in Cisco devices. It uses simple playbooks written in YAML to automate network tasks without needing complex steps. Ansible is agentless, making it easy to use across different network environments. Question number 8. A network engineer is troubleshooting a connectivity issue. The PC can ping its default gateway but cannot reach external websites. Which command should be used next to diagnose the issue? And the options are option A, show IP interface brief, option B, trace route 8.8.8.8, option C, show running config, and option D, show version. And the correct option is option B, trace route 8.8.8.8. So this IP address is basically Google public DNS server, and it can be used by anyone. DNS is basically to resolve domain name to IP addresses. So when you want to test your network or the external connectivity, you can simply ping or trace route this IP address, because this is already always available and is popular IP address of Google public DNS server. So the explanation is, since the PC can ping the default gateway but not external websites, running the trace route 8.8.8.8 helps identify where the connection is failing. Trace route shows the path packets take to the destination and where they get stuck. This makes it easier to spot problems beyond the local network. Question number 9. Which security measure is most effective in preventing a denial of service DOS attack on a network? And the options are option A, enabling port security, option B, implementing an access control list, that is ACL, option C, using intrusion prevention system IPS, and option D, configuring static IP addresses. And the correct option is using intrusion prevention system, that is IPS. And the explanation is, an IPS or intrusion prevention system is the most effective in preventing a denial of service attack because it actively monitors network traffic for suspicious patterns. An IPS can detect and block denial of service traffic in real time, mitigating the impact on the network. While ACLs can help filter unwanted traffic, an IPS is specifically designed to handle and respond to denial of service threats. Question number 10. Which wireless standard operates only on the 5 GHz frequency band and provides higher data rates compared to its predecessor? And the options are option A 802.11a, option B 802.11b, option C 802.11n, and option D 802.11ac. And the correct option is option D 802.11ac. So 802.11ac operates exclusively on the 5 GHz frequency band, unlike 802.11n, which supports both 2.4 and 5 GHz. It provides significantly higher data rates up to several gigabit per second compared to its predecessor 802.11abgn due to technologies like wider channel bandwidth up to 160 MHz, high order modulation 250-QAM, and multi-user MIMO, that is multi-user, multi-input and multi-output. 802.11a also operates on 5 GHz but offers much lower speeds, maximum 56 megabit per second. 802.11b operates only on 2.4 GHz and is much slower, maximum 11 Mbps. And 802.11n supports both 2.4 and 5 GHz but is slower than 802.11ac. Question number 11. Which of the following components holds the diagnostic software that is used when the router powers up? And the options are option A interface, option B ROM, option C flash, option D RAM, option E CPU, and option F NVRAM. And the correct option is option B ROM, that is read-only access memory. So the ROM, read-only access memory, holds the diagnostic software, also known as the POST, that is power on self-test, used when the router powers up. This software helps ensure that the router's hardware is functioning properly before it proceeds to load the operating system from other storage devices. ROM is non-volatile, so it retains data even when the router is powered off. Question number 12. If a lightweight access point provides at least one BSS for wireless clients, which of the following modes does it use? And the options are option A local, option B normal, option C monitor, and option D client. And the correct option is option A local. So a lightweight AP uses local mode when it provides at least one BSS, that is basic service set for wireless clients. In local mode, the AP forwards data traffic between clients and the wireless controller, allowing the clients to connect to the network. This is the most common mode for lightweight APs in enterprise environments. Question number 13. Which of the following parameters are necessary when creating a new wireless LAN with the controller GUI? Choose two options, and the options are option A SSID, that is service set identifier, option B VLAN number, option C interface, option C BSSID, and option E IP subnet. And the correct options are option A SSID and option B VLAN number. So when creating a new wireless LAN on a controller GUI, the SSID, that is service set identifier, is needed to identify the wireless network, and the VLAN number specifies which VLAN the wireless LAN will be associated with. These two parameters are essential for setting up a new wireless LAN and enabling proper communication on the network. The other options like BSSID and IP subnet are typically not required in the initial setup. Question number 14. How is Telnet used to verify connectivity? Choose two options, and the options are option A, it shows you the path required to reach the end device. Option B, to determine if you have access to a particular service on a device. Option C, it uses ICMP echo request to test connectivity. And option D, to verify basic connectivity to a device. And the correct options are option B, to determine if you have access to a particular service on a device, and to verify basic connectivity to a device. So Telnet is used to verify connectivity by allowing you to test access to specific services like SSH or HTTP on a remote device. It is also used for verifying basic connectivity by attempting to establish a connection to a device's specific port, for example, port 23 for Telnet. However, Telnet does not show the network path or use ICMP echo request, which are characteristic of tools like traceroute and ping. Question number 15. What commands should you configure globally to enable a 15-minute recovery time for the port security error disable state? And the options are option A, error disable recovery interval 15, option B, error disable recovery timer 15, option C, error disable recovery timer 900, and option D, error disable recovery interval 900. This is duplication. And the correct option is option D, error disable recovery interval 900. So to configure a 15-minute recovery time for the port security error disable state globally, you should use the command that specifies the interval in seconds. So this command takes the input in seconds. Since 15 minutes is equal to 900 seconds, that's why we will use the 900 number. So why not the other options? So the option A is having the 15, which is only 15 seconds, and we are aiming for 15 minutes. Option B is using the timer keyword, which is not the correct keyword, should be interval. And again, option C is also using timer, which is not the correct keyword. The correct keyword is basically the interval. Question number 16. What are the considerations when determining the best administrative distance of route sources? Choose two options. Option A, routers choose the routing source with the lowest administrative distance. Option B, multiple routing protocols and static routes cannot be used at the same time. Option C, multiple routing protocol and static routes can be used at the same time. And option D, routers choose the routing source with the highest administrative distance. And the correct options are option A, routers choose the routing source with the lowest administrative distance. And option C, multiple routing protocols and static routes can be used at the same time. So when determining the best administrative distance, routers always prefer the routing source with the lowest administrative distance as it represents the most trusted route. Additionally, multiple routing protocols and static routes can be used simultaneously on a router, with the router choosing the best path based on the administrative distance of each source. This allows for flexible and redundant routing configuration. Question number 17. Which quality of service feature is typically used inbound to a network to limit the amount of traffic that is allowed to flow in? And the options are option A, traffic classification, option B, traffic shaping, option C, traffic limiting, and option D, traffic policing. And the correct option is option D, traffic policing. So traffic policing is typically used in inbound to a network to limit the amount of traffic that is allowed to flow in. It works by monitoring the traffic rate and either dropping or remarking packets that exceed the defined traffic rate, helping to enforce traffic policies and prevent congestion. While traffic shaping is used to smooth out traffic flow, traffic policing is focused on enforcing limits. Question number 18, you want to verify the Cisco iOS software version, RAM version, amount of memory, type of processor, number and types of interfaces, as well as the configuration register value on your 2900 series iOS router. What command will allow you to accomplish this? Option A, show startup configuration. Option B, show running configuration. Option C, show version. And option D, show flash. And the correct option is option C, show version. So the show version command displays important information about a Cisco router, including the iOS software version, RAM version, amount of memory, processor type, number and types of interfaces, and the configuration register values. It provides a full snapshot of the device's basic system information in one place. Question number 19, which Cisco iOS command is used to advertise a default route into an OSPF domain regardless of whether a default static route is configured? And the options are option A, default information originate, option B, default information originate always, option C, default information originate permanent, and option D, default information originate no check. And the correct option is option B, default information originate always. So the command default information originate always is used in OSPF to advertise a default route in OSPF domain, even if the router does not currently have a default static route configured. The always keyword forces the advertisement, ensuring the OSPF neighbors receive the default route under all conditions. Question number 20, suppose you would like to select a method to protect the privacy and integrity of wireless data. Which one of the following methods should you avoid because it has been deprecated? Option A, TKIP. Option B, CCMP. Option C, GCMP. And option D, EAP. And the correct option is option A, TKIP. And the explanation is that you should avoid TKIP because it has been deprecated due to known security weaknesses. Modern wireless networks use strong methods like CCMP or GCMP for protecting the privacy and integrity of data. TKIP was originally introduced as a temporary fix for older systems but is no longer considered secure today. Question number 21, identify advantages of link state protocol. Choose two options, and the options are option A, updates are sent when a topology change occurs. Option B, more information is communicated between routers. Option C, updates are not flooded periodically. And option D, they have reduced scalability. And the correct options are option A, updates are sent when a topology change occur, and option B, more information is communicated between routers. So link state protocols send updates only when a topology change occur, which makes the network more efficient compared to protocols that send update periodically. They also communicate more detailed information between routers, allowing each other to build a complete and accurate map of the network for better routing decisions. Question number 22, which 802.11 frame type is association response? Option A, management. Option B, protected frame. Option C, action. And option D, control. And the correct option is option A, management. So the association response frame is a management frame in the 802.11 wireless standard. Management frames are responsible for network operations like authentication, association, and disassociation between wireless clients and access points. The association response specifically confirms whether a client's request to join the network has been accepted or denied. Question number 23. In which way does a spine and leaf architecture allow for scalability in a network when additional access ports are required? Option A spine switch and a leaf switch can be added with redundant connections between them. Option B, a spine switch can be added with at least 40 GB uplinks. Option B, a leaf switch can be added with connections to every spine switch. And option D, a leaf switch can be added with a single connection to a core spine switch. And the correct option is option C, a leaf switch can be added with connections to every spine switch. So in a spine and leaf architecture, when more access ports are needed, you simply add a new leaf switch and connect it to every spine switch. This keeps the network highly scalable and maintains consistent low latency, ensuring that each device can reach any other device in the network efficiently. So this is basically the leaf and spine architecture. So we have at the top the spine switches, then we have the leaf switches, and the end devices such as servers are connected directly to leaf switches. So let's suppose if we want to, our leaf switches are already populated and we have other end devices. So what we will do, we will add another leaf switch and we will connect it to all the spine switches. So now we have access ports available and we can connect other servers to this leaf switch. So this is how this works. Question number 24. Which ones are true about TCP and UDP? And the options are option A, TCP is slower than UDP. Option B, there is no error checking mechanism in UDP. Option C, TCP has 8 bits header. Option D, UDP has guaranteed transmission. And option T, TCP is a secure protocol, UDP is not secure. And the correct options are option A, TCP is slower than UDP. And option B, there is no error checking mechanism in UDP. So TCP is slower than UDP because TCP provides features like error checking, acknowledgement, and connection management, which add extra processing. UDP is faster but does not provide built-in error checking or guaranteed delivery, making it ideal for real-time applications like video streaming, where speed is more important than reliability. Question number 25, how to enable syslog on Cisco routers? And the options are option A, logging run, option B, logging on, option C, run logging, and option D, start logging, option E, logging start. And the correct option is option B, logging on. So to enable syslog on a Cisco router, you use the command logging on. This command activates the logging process so the router can start recording system messages either locally or to a remote syslog server. So this screenshot, I have taken this screenshot from the packet tracer on a Cisco router. So you can see if you type the login, the global configuration mode, you have this on option, which is enable logging to all enabled destination. So logging on is the correct option. So I have over 12 packet tracer labs for the CCNA exam, and I will give the link of these videos in the description as well as at the end of the video. So when preparing for the CCNA, you should also check these labs. I have selected the labs that will be beneficial for you in the exam.